This week on Monsters of Destruction Behind the Scenes, we'll head back to Utah for part 2 of the Kreg Christensen story, and we'll check out race highlights from Eagle, Idaho. Kreg Christensen has been around racing his whole life. His dad taught him at a young age how to work on machinery, and when Kreg got older, he decided it was time to try his hand at racing. In 1987, he bought his first mud car and named it Out of Control, a fitting name that describes his driving style. He won many trophies, but mud drags didn't pay the bills, and in 1993 he heard about monster truck racing and decided to try his hand at it. Kreg couldn't decide on a name for his new truck, and he asked his son to ask the kids at school to come up with a name, and that's how Dragon Slayer was born. Kreg took his racing skills on tour and made a name for himself as the Madman. Even in those days, Kreg drove the truck to its limits and sometimes landed upside down, but each week he and his crew put the truck back together and traveled around the country to compete against some of the biggest superstars in the business. In 1999, he built a second truck named Captain Insano. Today, Christensen has 3 trucks to his fleet, including Spider-Man, driven by his son, Paul Jensen. Christensen has been driving monster trucks for 13 years and now leads the Monsters of Destruction point standings. Let's head back to the shop located in Willard, Utah, and see the softer side of the boss.
How come you're wearing Monster Mutt?
Because it's my favorite truck.
It's your favorite truck?
Yep.
Just is your favorite shirt to work in? Huh? Yeah? What is your favorite truck?
Monster Mutt.
It ain't Monster Mutt.
Yeah.
Can't believe you think it's Monster Mutt. All right. Here. Take that. This is Sublimity, Oregon, 2004, and this is Spider-Man's run. It was just a freestyle competition where that's Paul driving Spider-Man. It's a big truck pull that we go to just about every year. Just freestyle event. This is a band stack. The first couple times we drove with a locker until like one wheel hop, one wheel to the other. The only thing that saved the truck from going over is it blew the tire in the back, right here in the corner. Then it straightened out, come in and tattooed the bus from the night before. But that's what Dragon Slayer is known for, is no holds barred, all freestyle action. And I've always had the attitude that come to a show, you want to see blood, guts, and glory, and so that's what I try to give them every time. But we do the best we can with what we've got. And this is normally how we see band stacks, is a carved band car, not up on a pedestal. I think when they put it up on a pedestal and ramp it, you take all of the lift away from it. Where I'd rather see the car van car stack just all by itself. A lot of the other drivers don't like that way because it's too rough, but you know, you're here putting on a show, at a monster truck show, you're not riding a freestyle bicycle.
Christensen prides himself in giving the fans what they paid to see, and 2 of Kreg's biggest fans are his mom and dad. We had a chance to sit down with Grandpa and talk about his son.
He brings both his mother and I to tears quite often. In fact, more often than not. We're really proud of him. See him coming to tears now. We're very proud of Kreg and his accomplishments. He's a great son. I couldn't ask for a better son. He's not afraid of it, not the least bit. And it's like he knows what the truck can and will do. The video that we just saw in Sublimity, landed on one tire, jumped over to the other tire, come back to the right tire, almost rolled over, boom, stopped, hit the bus. He felt he was under total control. Us in the crowd thought, holy cow. But he's in control 99% of the time. And it's come with experience, and he's good at it. He really is. The grandsons are kind of a chip off the old block. They would like to be as good as he is, but they're well aware that they're not quite yet. Now maybe when Kreg's my age, those grandsons will be his age, and they'll have that kind of experience. Paul became a natural at it. And he's got a truck that'll do most anything, and he takes advantage of that. Of course, His truck is an old Dragon Slayer truck, so what do you expect? And then Casey, his oldest, got into it and then got out of it. He went to school. Brian got into it and didn't get along with his dad that well, so they kind of split their ways. He went and worked for other people. He's been all up and down the East Coast driving people's trucks, and decided this year to buy his own. And he literally did. He went out and bought his own truck. He and his dad went to Florida and picked it up and brought it back here. He's bought him a hauler he's turned into a motor home. He bought one of Craig's trailers, and he'll do well. He really will. Got him a nice little family that backs him on it. And he's another grandson that we can be proud of.
AmeriGas, America's propane company. And by MonsterTruckStore.com, your online source for all monster truck merchandise. Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction behind the scenes on the Outdoor Channel. While the boys were back at the shop working, Kreg took our MOD camera crew down to visit his biggest sponsor, Tough Country, located in West Valley, Utah, to check out their operation.
This area of the warehouse right here is where we warehouse all the finished kits. Once they've been assembled, these kits on the shelves here are waiting to be shipped out to our customers. These brackets are being counted. They just came in from our laser facility and are being processed and ready to go out to our welding facility, where they'll be turned into actual brackets or components. At that time, when they come back, they will then go to our powder coat facility, where they'll be painted. Once they come back from there, they'll actually be ready to be put in box as kits. This area of the warehouse is where we keep brackets that have come back from the laser facility, the welding facility, and the powder coat facility. They're now shelved items and ready to be put into kits to be shipped out to our customers. This is our packaging or our shipping department, and as the orders come down from our customers, our shipping crew here will pull the orders and actually go and gather up a complete order, bring it over here, and prepare it for shipping. Once they have a completed order, they'll send it out either UPS or truck freight, depending on how soon the customer needs to get it at that point. The packaging department will take the brackets that have come back from the powder coat facility. We have a packaging guide, and we have a triple check system where the guys will actually go pull all the brackets and all the parts that need to go into each kit. They will then have a co-worker check to make sure that all the parts that are supposed to go into that kit are correctly assembled and put into that box. Once that is complete, the completed kits go into inventory and are put in bin locations so that our shipping department can pull them with ease. We have everything from nuts, bolts, and washers to shocks, leaf springs, coil springs, all of our laser cut brackets, subframes, chuck boots, and decals.
I've been pretty proud to actually have Dragon Slayer part of a sponsorship for us. A lot of name recognition out there throughout the whole U.S. Everywhere he goes, the guy's a force to be reckoned with, actually. The new truck actually is a little different look than the actual Dragon Slayer. We've gone to a little different decal pattern on it, which helps us actually get the name out there more. And big trucks, people love to see what we're doing out there. Kreg is a stud. Craig's a great guy to deal with. As far as on a personal level, he, anything the guy ever needs, we're after him. Anything that we can do for him, anything he can do for us, it's a hand-in-hand relationship here. It's been a good guy to have support our business throughout the years. He's definitely helped us get where we are today.
Right now, you can get.
As we move on to semi number one, it'll be Rick Swanson in the Linex Obsession truck going up against Paul Jensen in the Spider-Man. Paul Jensen driving the Hummer. It's got a short wheelbase. That may be a disadvantage in a straight line situation. Let's see as they get started. Swanson's got a pretty good run going, but it's Spider-Man with a time of 5.362, defeating Rick Swanson, who checked in at 6.047. Rick got off the green really well, spent a little bit too much time on the top of that berm, handled the cars cleanly, just wasn't quick enough. Let's see if Spider-Man gains some advantage anywhere. Probably in the air. He landed pretty close to those timing lights at the end of the run. Kept his forward momentum going, didn't bobble, didn't drift. A good run for Paul Jensen in Spider-Man, who will advance. Monster Patrol now, driven by Paul Schaefer, going up against our points leader, Kreg Christensen, in the Dragon Slayer. Again, the Dragon Slayer is a Hummer, got that shorter wheelbase, which is usually better for turning course situations, Chicago style or obstacle course. Paul Schaefer would have to be the favorite here, bringing the Hemi outdoors with 2,000 horsepower. Let's see how they do. They're both off the green clean. Paul Schaefer, a lot of distance in the air. He landed almost on top of the timing lights. A great run for Paul Schaefer, 5.133, a full second faster than Kreg Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. Good start for Kreg here. Didn't get over that berm. He wants to clear that in the air if he's going to make up major time against Paul Schaefer. Couldn't do it there. Paul just comes firing off the line. Look at how much distance he got on that jump. A great, great run for Monster Patrol here tonight. Here's one more look. He's just got superior horsepower, as it would appear. He's going to be tough to beat here tonight. One more long look. Oh, a bobble there. Boy, Kreg really got out of shape. I didn't pick that up on the first 3 looks at it, but that angle really showed that he struggled over that first berm. That first kicker really did him in. So we move on to the final now. It will be Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol getting set to do battle against Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. Paul was 4th in straight line drag standings coming into tonight. A good chance for him to move up as he faces Paul Schaefer here. Paul gets in a little trouble going over the cars, but I think Paul took this one. Let's see. 5.203 for Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol, your straight line drag winner tonight. Spider-Man a half a second slower at 5.7. So Monster Patrol missed the last couple shows. He wins here tonight. Let's take another look at Paul's run. Pretty clean there, but just a more formidable opponent. The Hemi-driven Monster Patrol of Paul Schaefer put it to him tonight. Paul got a little off camber there going over the cars. That might have slowed him down, but just way too much horsepower as he advances to victory here tonight in straight line drag competition. So your results in round 15 here from Eagle, Idaho. It's Monster Patrol taking the straight line drags. Spider-Man second, followed by Linex, Dragon Slayer, Monster Moose, and Public Disturbance. After 15 rounds, your season standings look like this. It's Dragon Slayer, followed by Monster Patrol, Bigfoot, Spider-Man, Linex, and Kevin Harvick.
All right, now we're going to come over and talk with Paul Schaefer. Now, Paul, you come a long ways from home just to come out here and race, don't you?
Yeah, it's a long ways. It's about 22 hours, but I kind of cheated. I took an airplane.
Well, that's what the crews are for. They bring the trucks out here for you, don't they?
Yeah, I got a good crew guy. James does a good job. He maintains it and he works on it. And if I don't make it, he drives it. He's been learning how to drive little by little.
Well, I tell you what, you put on a great performance this evening, and it's my understanding that if you put on a repeat performance of tonight's event, you're going to be looking on catching some points right now and working towards first place.
Well, I need to catch up on the points. I mean, Greg and Paul, they run so hard, and these short tracks, the old big old Hemi, they run good, but they need a lot of room to get up some speed, and those little Chevys, they crank so many R's. They're hard to beat indoors.
Well, I tell you what, you sure put on a great performance for us out there this evening. I know the fans love you, and we love you, and great race.
Yep, thanks a lot. You know, I'm sponsored by the AMSOIL, and without AMSOIL, we wouldn't be here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, come on. Give it up for Paul Schaefer and Barefoot Frankenstein.
MonsterTruckStore.com, your online source for monster.
Round 15 of Monsters of Destruction competition here on the Outdoor Channel. This is the Chicago-style semi number 1. Jason Grill making an appearance against Rick Swanson in the Linex Obsession. This is Rick Swanson's first race after undergoing LASIK surgery. He used to have to worry about his glasses fogging up, having them fall off. It was always a worry for him, but so far so good tonight. His first race back after the eye surgery. Really gets on the brakes there as he approaches the first turning pole. That may cost him. Here comes Jason around the turn, but he's in trouble. He misses the berm almost entirely. That's the second time we've seen him do that. He gets it back going again, but I think Jason is gonna be beaten here by Rick Swanson. Let's see. Here he comes over the last set of cars. Swanson brings it home As Grill is still out on the course, he's going to bring it home, but not good enough to beat Rick Swanson here tonight. Rick Swanson's time in the Linux, 27.348. Jason Grill a long way behind at 35 and change. Really good look at Jason Grill. Not getting a lot of distance over those cars. Has to get on the brakes to make the turn. Here is where he gets into a whole lot of trouble. Too much rear steer right there, and he misses the jump. Goes over the side, may have been a penalty. Either way, it cost him a lot of time. Gathered it back up. Comes around the turn again. Executed that turn a little bit better. Needed a little bit more throttle to get over that first set of jumps. A lot more distance in the air that time for Jason Grill, but he lost it on that first turn without a doubt. Here's Rick. So far, so good for Swanson. Really got on the brakes hard there. Carries the turn a little too far to the right, but brings it back in. Slows down there before he approaches the green cars. Again, on the brakes on the turn. We're used to seeing him charge those turns a little bit more aggressively, but these first set of jumps are really hard to line up. A lot of the trucks having trouble here tonight. All in all, a good run for Rick Swanson as now we move on to semifinal number 2. It'll be Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol against Kreg Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. Taking a look at these two trucks, they're very different. Monster Patrol has a wheelbase of 153 inches compared to only 144 for Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer should have the advantage in a turning course situation. Has to correct there, misses the berm. Again, those drivers really struggling getting around these turning poles and lining up that first jump. Schaefer makes that turn pretty good. Hits the jump clean, opens it up now. He's on the throttle. A good run for Paul Schaefer. His time, 26.094, but Kreg Christensen also strong at 26.700. Christensen gets a good start off the line, clears the cars well, kicks it out to the right to try and make the turn. Has to correct with rear steer, misses the berm there. Gets it gathered back up for the white cars. He's on the throttle hard, slides that rear end around. Bobbles there, had to get off the gas to line up the jump again. Got beat on the turns, did Kreg Christensen, it would appear. Here's the Hemi-powered Monster Patrol of Paul Schaefer. Flying down that first lane, comes to the turn. A lot closer to the turning pole that time. A good job by Paul Schaefer to get that steering kicked around. Turns it out to the right to improve his turning radius. Gets off the gas. Back on the throttle now. Bringing it home. A lot of distance in the air that time. That helped him out a lot. Pretty much a flawless run from Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol, which earns him the right to go up against that man, Rick Swanson, in the Linux Obsession here in the final. This matchup should be power against finesse. A lot more horsepower in Monster Patrol's engine compartment, but Rick Swanson has the shorter wheelbase. He should be able to get through those turns. So what's it going to be, speed or finesse? Let's see. So far, Swanson's got a good run going. He's made the turn clean. Approaches the next turning pole. Schaefer gets around that turn pretty good. This is going to be a dogfight. It's anybody's race. Pretty close as Schaefer brings it home, but not good enough. Swanson beats him by about 0.4 of a second. His time, 26.089. Let's take another look now. Really dipped the nose on the landing over that jump. Bobbled, got it back going, slowed down a little bit around the turn. Opens it up there, gets some good distance over the cars, has to hit the brakes again to get around the turn. They're kicking up a lot of dust here at Eagle Speedway. Hits that jump clean, brings it home. Not a bad run, really. His time was pretty impressive, but Swanson just a little better here at Chaparral Speedway. So there Rick sets the brakes to get the truck around the corner there. Hits the berm perfectly, lines up the row of white cars really well. He's flying. Again, sliding through that turn, never gets off the throttle. He's just a man possessed. Kept his momentum going and brought it home. A beautiful run for Rick Swanson, your winner here tonight. The finals in obstacle course racing tonight, Linex followed by Monster Patrol. Dragon Slayer, Public Disturbance checks in fourth, followed by Monster Moose and Spider-Man.
Okay, congratulations. You're going to go home with a win tonight. A great final round out here in the obstacle course.
Well, you know, there isn't a truck out here that when you pull to the line, you got to worry about. Paul, with all his big Hemi horsepower, he's always scary to go against.
Well, I tell you what, you sure put on a great show. I noticed that when you guys took off, you were neck and neck there over the first set of cars. And after that, you just kind of whipped the corner and pulled away a little bit. What's the trick?
You know, I've had the exact same truck for 9 years, so I've got a lot of use to it. I'm just doing my best.
Well, I tell you what, sometimes the best is what these people pay to see, and you certainly did that for us tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I couldn't do it without my sponsors. I've got Linex, Marigas, James Duff, Super Chips. My wife and kid at home, unfortunately, they couldn't make this trip. She does all the booking, and my kid does all the mechanics. So I got my cousin out here. He lives out here in Sun Valley, so I had to do good for him.
All right, well, let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, and congratulations to Rick Swanson. A great run tonight. Thanks for coming out. Come on, let's make some noise.
After 15 rounds, your Chicago-style standings look like this. It's Dragon Slayer, followed by Bigfoot, Monster Patrol, Spider-Man, Monster Moose, and Linex Obsession.
Next week, we'll head back to the shop and see what it takes for Kreg and the boys to get ready for the upcoming race in Eagle, Idaho. Remember, there are men, there are machines, and then there are monsters of destruction.